Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today, we're going to look at the difference between boats, ferries, and hovercraft. As you know, Britain is an island. We often use words like boats, ferries, and hovercrafts when we talk about small journeys across big rivers, and also when we go to the islands. Let me explain. A ferry is a boat which takes you from one point to the other regularly. It's called the ferry because the verb of what it does is it ferries you from one place to another. It goes back and forth and back and forth. So we call it a ferry. So, in this way, a boat and a ferry is the same thing. We can't use the word ferry to describe any other kind of journey. A car, a train, and a bus, these can't be ferries. But sometimes we do use the verb. For example, my brother ferried me back and forth to the train station when I arrived late. But that doesn't make him a ferry. A ferry has to be a more kind of permanent thing. So, a boat and a ferry, they are the same things. A hovercraft could also be a ferry if it's the same thing. A hovercraft is the one that has the rubber around it and it kind of floats with air on top of the water. In the south of England, between the Isle of Wight and the mainland Britain, there used to be a hovercraft. And I remember two hovercrafts around the UK. But they're not so fashionable now, but they are still there. They were very big and very beautiful. I think some of them even had a cafe on board. So, a boat and a hovercraft could both be ferries. What about boats? Well, boats come in all shapes and sizes. You can talk about big ferries, small ferries, big boats and small boats. Usually if it's a regular service, we just use the word ferry. But the boat itself, of course, we can use that interchangeably with the word ferry. I'm going to take the boat, I'm going to take the ferry, if of course it's a regular service. The big boats, the ones that you stay on, for example, if you're going on a cruise with Royal Caribbean or P&O ferries or Stena Line, these are generally called cruise liners. They're the kind of luxury ones, a cruise liner. And in English there's many different ways to describe boats. The big ones are cruise liners. The small ones, which have the sail on the top, are generally referred to as yachts. Yachts. And then there's tiny little things which people like to use, very small light boats, which are called canoes. But canoes and yachts are really only big enough for one, maybe two people. When you see a boat race on TV, it could be a yacht or a canoe. And then there's also very small ones which you can kind of cover when you're in the water, and they're called kayaks, but they're not really safe for real journeys or long journeys. Let's go over this again. Ferry. It's any service which involves a boat of any kind going from one place to another. Cruise liner is when you go your holidays, and it's not a ferry, that's for sure. Think of a ferry like a little bus or a train that goes back and forth. Then you have yachts and yacht racing. As well as that, you have canoes, which sometimes you see the students doing. That's the one where they sit one behind the other and they use the oars to move themselves along the water. And then there's the kayak, which is usually only for one person. And it has a little oar as well. Although I think the oar in the kayak is only one piece of wood, not two. Other boats have two oars. So, ferry, boat, yacht, canoe, kayak, cruise liner. You will hear many other types of boats. This is like, well, it's not like an island. Britain is an island. You know, in American speech, they often say like, this is like something, this is like something else. Well, Britain is not like an island. It is an island. I hope you found this helpful. See you soon. Bye-bye.